All right. Welcome to another edition of Gussied Up Magic. We're excited to be here, and we've got a beautiful, beautiful young friend here named Zia Darling. And Zia is really a special soul. I have met her a couple of times. First time, I'll let her talk about it, but we met, and she actually saw a sweater I had on, and she liked it, and we just kind of just our energies fused, and I think we really like each other. But she is the Wicked Witch of West Jefferson, North Carolina. She enjoys folk magic. She's a folk magic practitioner. And she's the owner of a wonderful store on Main Street, great Southern Gothic curiosity shop and escape room. And that's again in West Jefferson, North Carolina. And she enjoys making art. She loves to learn about herbalism, magic, the supernatural. She loves to tell ghost stories. She's she's one of those kindred souls because I love to treasure hunt and bargain hunt, and she likes to do that too. And you know, it really does save a lot of water and trees in the world, depending on what you happen to be thrifting. So you know, we have that in common, and she loves taking care of her plants. She has a very significant green thumb, and she loves to play with her new kitty named Rain. So welcome, welcome to Gussied Up Magic.
Well, thank you so much for having me on and let me have this platform with you. Um, I'm excited for this. And also, if you hear something running around, it's Rain, the new kitty. I've only had her for about 3 weeks tomorrow, so we're just kind of getting into the flow of things. But she's been a really good cat and a good new little companion for me.
Oh, I love
Um,
that. You know, they've always thought that is she a black kitty? Or
she's
what kind of
gray.
kitty?
She's like very like almost like a Russian blue, that very dark gray. And she's become
Yeah.
more gray as she gets older. It's like I can see her changing before my eyes as, you know, these past couple weeks. But
Well, you know,
uh,
they've always thought that cats made wonderful companions for witches. So
yeah, that's definitely how I feel.
now, how did you find her? How did she come into
Um,
your life?
so my dad has two cats and they were coming in um the window. So that's where they were allowed to go in and out through there. And so this stray mama cat had three kittens, and one of them was a black cat. And I did consider getting him, but like just at the time, I was just feeling like I couldn't really have a cat at the moment because like it's been almost 3 years since I had a cat or any pet. So um, it was, it's a big responsibility, and I went through a lot with the last one. Um, so I was thinking about adopting him. So there's a black one, a gray one that looked just like her mom, that's Rain, and then one that's white with gray spots. And his name is so my mom named the white with gray spots, his name is Leo, and the black one's Midnight, and mom named her Rain. I think we might have previously had a kitten that we named Rain from a litter, but she ended up not staying with us. So she wanted to use that name again. And it's Rayne is how we spell it. But yeah, so Rain ended up getting sick, so I took her to the vet, and so I've been taking care of her since then, and she's been doing really good and getting better. So that's how I got her. And she's really been like the perfect cat. I was thinking, I wish I could have a little shop kitty that I could take back and forth to the shop. And that's what I've been doing because I've been having to do that
Mhm.
since she was sick and keep her with me. So we're kind of getting on that routine now, and she likes it. And people love seeing her in the shop. So she's a new little shop kitty.
I love that, and they're good for mousing and that sort of
Oh,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
she's gotten better. She's been getting, doing that. So that's what I need, that protection where it's like vulnerable. And they
mhm.
so she's like my little familiar.
I love that.
Um,
Well,
I was going into where my boyfriend works at, and I saw Pat coming out the door of the restaurant, and I was like, she looks pretty cool. I think she would like my shop. And I don't remember exactly what she had on, but I know it was like black and something celestial, maybe some cool earrings like moon and star stuff. That's what I got
mhm,
on right now. See the
love
earring.
it,
I love the
love it.
celestial look. I love like astrology stuff. So I was like, hey, she's pretty cool. Like, I wonder, I didn't even think that you lived in the same place or anything or close by. I thought you just a visitor maybe, but anyway, you would come to my shop. So I gave her my card. Well, at first I didn't have a card on me. Then I was like, wait a minute. Something told me turn back around, go to the car, get a card and give it to her. So I did. And then she shows up to the shop like when was it? July 1st?
Mhm.
No, June 1st, something like that.
It
And
was in June.
yeah, June 1st, I think. And then I remember writing about it in my diary. I met you, then all this stuff happened, the connections with the Granny Witch stuff. And we were both saying, yeah, it's meant to be. And, stuff like that happens probably to us a lot. So, but it's always
Mhm.
a fun surprise like that. It's magical, yeah, and you accept it as that. But what I'm saying is coincidental, not coincidental. It's not coincidence. It's like meant to be. But um, what happened was she goes, well, she was looking at the books I have for sale. And she said, well, if you like this kind of stuff, then have you, we talked about Granny Witches and Granny Witch Magic stuff. And she told me she wrote the book Granny Witch Magic. And I was like, oh, yeah, I've seen that before, like on my Amazon and put it on my list and stuff. And then I showed her my Granny Witch fortune teller machine. So that's how we got connected. And it's been pretty cool.
It has been. I've got to tell you, yeah, I loved her energy, and I always tell people when I describe her, she's like a little witchy Dolly Parton. She has the same
Oh
kind
my
of
God, I
vibe,
love that.
which is like one of the best compliments that
Yeah,
someone can give someone, right?
yeah,
Especially from our region. So
I
so
love that.
anyway, it's been a pleasure, and if you have a chance to visit West Jefferson because it's quite the tourist attraction, and it does drive a lot of tourism through, you have to stop by and see her shop. Now, it's interesting because it's actually upstairs, isn't it?
Yeah,
S but the
kind of
sign
tucked
is
away.
outside, so you can't miss it.
Well, it's funny because so many people do miss it all the time. Like people that live there, like, wow, how long have you been here? And I'm like 9 years, and they're like, what? I never knew you were here. It's kind of like in Harry Potter, where it's like the room of requirement. You have to walk back and forth a few
Mhm.
times, and then you'll see it. It appears to you, like, or it appears whenever you need it, and then just you go in there and find
What
what you
was that,
need.
Dagon Alley? I
Yeah,
think,
Diagon
remember
Alley.
it. Yeah, that's right, it
I'm a
was,
big Harry
one of the
Potter fan.
places. Then you know, then you know. So, yeah, what about your practice? When did you get into it?
It's I feel like it's always been like within me to find this path, but really about 10 or 12 years ago is when I was, got to be about 20 or so, or early 20s, figuring out like, what I wanted to do, what direction I wanted to go with it. I always like making stuff and knew I wanted to have a shop. But, at first I was saying apothecary, and it was always going to have like this magical bent to it in my mind. But like I said, I was really still early on in the journey. Like, there's so many like paths you can go on and stuff. But early on, I realized, I'm like eclectic, solitary, um, and I like to take from different folkways and different paths to kind of form my own truth and like identity through that. And so and there were always different things in the media that kind of pushed me towards stuff like that, like movies and stuff, you know what I mean, like in books like Harry Potter too. Yeah. They might have been right for burning those books. No, I'm just kidding. But they made the Wicked Witch, which of West Jefferson, and I say that just because it's a joke. I don't take stuff seriously a lot. But so let's see what.
What is your favorite part of your practice? What do you enjoy?
Basically, it's just been like a learning journey. Sometimes I'll like not be like, for right now, of like, why haven't I really been into it and practicing and doing and learning all these things lately? And I realize it's because there was a rough patch like in my life with family and health, and that like took a toll on me because I'm really close to my family. So, you know, recently I hadn't been totally like observing moon phases, but I do things like observe the phases of the moon, and I like I like going out and finding herbs that relates to like what my ancestors would have used, and just learning about that and kind of like um you know using that within the practice. Like, so I was going outside looking for yarrow, and I couldn't find any just right around here growing, but I did see these little white flowers, and I'm like, what is that? And they had this really interesting smell. And so I picked them, and I was asking some of my friends, like, help me identify this. And then I figured out it was rabbit tobacco, but it's also called like life everlasting. And I'm looking at it right now. That's why I'm looking over there. But um, I learned a lot of neat, interesting things about that. And it has sort of a maple syrup smell when it dries, but it can be used to be smoked. It can be smoked. Sorry, I got burp there. But it was like an alternative to tobacco, and there was medicinal things you could do with it. And so I have this card deck. It's called the Southern Botanic Oracle, and I was like, I wonder if that rabbit tobacco card's in here because it's all about plants and stuff of the region of Appalachia and in the South and stuff. And then the next reading I done with it for myself, literally that card came out. So it's like that's what I like about that. Just kind of, yeah, it's sort of like I feel like that's getting closer to my ancestors and stuff. Because when I asked Mama about it, she said that Papa used to smoke that when he was little, I think.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's
It
something
wasn't
kids
uncommon.
did back then.
Well, let me ask, what's your favorite herb to work with?
I like lavender a lot. I mean, I know that probably sounds like cliche, but it just smells really good, and it's just like super potent. Like I have one that's a plant that's like a hybrid, and it's super strong, like camphor smell.
Well, that's interesting. I like lavender too, and I love to make sachets out of it
Mhm.
that I will put under my pillow. And I love it for other people because I can't drink lavender. I have a slight reaction to it, and
Oh,
that's another thing. When people hear about herbs and that sort of thing, make sure you're not allergic to
right.
whatever it is you're going to try. I mean, it could be an unpleasant experience for you, but I love to put lavender and then, like a lemon balm or bee balm, any of the
Mhm.
mints,
It smells
it
good.
it it makes a wonderful tea, yes, for those people who stress or who have difficulty sleeping. But as far as sleep for me, and this is a terrible herb to use, and the reason I say that, it's very effective, but the smell is outrageous. It
I
smells
know what
like
you're gonna
dirty
say.
feet.
I know what you're gonna
Yeah,
say.
valerian.
Valerian. Jinx.
Yes. It but I always say that valerian tea is like chamomile on steroids. It
Uh-huh.
yes, where chamomile can make you relaxed, this really can. If you have, difficulty sleeping, which I do, it can be a very powerful, herb that helps you to relax and helps to clear the mind because I'm also ADHD, and so it works wonders for me. And what about growing things? What's your favorite, herb or thing to grow?
Now I'm just getting into the growing part, like I said, everything's a journey, and I'm just getting
Mhm.
on to like that path recently. And I have a lavender plant, but I feel like it needs repotted. I hadn't been giving enough attention to the plants lately, but I have a rosemary, and I did recently try growing chamomile from seed, and
Mhm.
I think, you kind of got to listen to the plants and figure out what they
Mhm.
want and what they need. And I think it
Mhm.
might need a more sandier soil. I don't think it likes that clay soil out there, but that's the one that, and I do have a rosemary I grew from seed. So my
I have
favorite would
I
be
actually have you gave me a little chamomile plant, and to let you know that I've got some flourishing out, I actually put it next to some marigold in a really big pot where I had planted some potatoes, and it seems
good.
to like that, so it's doing well.
Good. I forgot about that. And you know what? There's a gourd out there that just seeded itself, and it's taken over. It's making these cute little yellow and green gourds on it, and it's
Mm,
probably just from one I had got from last year.
mhm.
And but it's kinda taken over out there. It's going and spreading everywhere, so
Well,
but
what
I like
about
mugwort too, like, my friend gave and I forgot that I gave you that chamomile, but my friend
mhm,
had gave me some mugwort, and it's trying to, like, take over because people call it a weed, but I
yeah.
like it, and I do stuff with it probably the most, actually, thinking about it. I made, like, little smudge bundles with it, and I just dry it and, burn it.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah, mugwort, and we've got, it's really amazing what you can find when you walk outside. Like, we have, as you know, we've got, oh my goodness, Queen Anne's lace all over the place,
Yep.
and some people back in the day would take some of the seeds and would chew on those, to relieve stomach issues. They don't do that now because they found that there's also a poison that can be,
Ooh,
within those seeds. But
yeah,
back in the day, people would use those kinda like fennel if they were, if they had an inflamed stomach or something like that, where you might take, fennel seeds now, they would, run out and find some Queen Anne's lace and try to find some seeds, if
um,
it was seeding. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
seeing people online talk about, like, don't confuse poison hemlock with Queen Anne's lace either. I
Yes,
don't think I've
exactly, and
seen water hemlock anywhere though around here, but they said the way you know for sure it's Queen Anne's lace if it has that little yellow flower in the middle, but all of them don't have that, I noticed, like a little red or yellow flower, I think.
well, the other thing to look for is, the stalk is purple,
Mm.
or it has a purplish hue in
I think it's like
hemlock.
hairy legs, I think they said, like, the queen has hairy legs or something like that.
Yeah, so yeah, there's several things that you can look for in that. But I mean, we have mullein, we have yarrow, like you said. We have, I think, literally dozens. I mean, if you want different kinds of mint, you can go down to water. If you have a little, running creek somewhere, and you're almost sure to find some sort of mint along the banks of that. And then for people who do magic, there's a lot of stuff in these woods and mountains, and one of them, my husband found a snake skin that was
Uh-huh.
about 10 feet long. It was huge. I mean, it was huge, but it was a black snake, probably one of the biggest, casings I had ever seen. But, for people who do practice, uh, types of magic, that's quite the find. What about you? Do you forage into the forest to see what you can find?
Yeah, and also, like, when you just mentioned the snake, I wanted to tell you about the time it was last year, I think. I left the window open and didn't have a screen in the whole thing, just part of it, and then a black snake got in here. And it was, like, probably about over 6 feet long,
Mhm, mhm.
and it got in here behind this couch, and we were, like, freaking out, like, "How do we get it out of here?" And then eventually, like, I had a lamp on, and it was feeling the warmth of the light bulb, and it crawled
Mhm.
onto the lamp, and then I got Justin to come in here, my partner, and I told him to, lower that out the window, and he just slowly put it out there, and he was, like, shaking, but, I mean, it's a black snake, it's not venomous, but we didn't want it to bite us or anything
Right.
still, and he lets it, and it just goes on off, and, we named it Blackie Lawless.
I like that.
And so, yeah, I'm not afraid of snakes or anything, but just having a wild animal in your house and you don't know how it's
Mhm,
gonna react, and,
mhm,
you don't wanna hurt it either. But, um, yeah, I think black snakes are good luck, and they can help you, that in your barn to kill mice and keep the
mhm,
vermin out of your, feed and whatever.
mhm. Oh,
But,
yeah.
okay, you asked about um, forage and stuff. Yeah, we like to whenever we get the chance, go out and forage for stuff.
Mhm,
Justin found some morel mushrooms. This was like,
mhm,
was it last year too? Like we had a pretty cool year if that was last year too. But we didn't find any this year. It's just kind
mhm,
of random how they come up. That's why they're so like prized and expensive. I mean, also you got to be pretty careful though to cook them very well
mhm,
and wash
mhm,
them out good too. But we were excited when we found the morel mushrooms. We ate them,
mhm.
fried them with butter. Oh, hold on, there was an alarm on my phone. I think it went off. But um, yeah. And then I found the we have mullein around here too. And what's interesting is like "Oh, I need more mullein, I want more mullein," because we didn't have that much. And then I had made a had fire out there on some kind of full moon thing at some
Mhm.
time, and the ashes were out there, and the mullein was growing in it.
Oh, nice. Now, let me ask, your practice, do you all do anything with the fae, the fairy people?
I believe in them, and, I know that there's all different types of spirits and everything, but it's like, I wanna have more time to sort of, like, connect to that realm, and I've always been drawn to that, and I feel that, yes, there's, things out there that's real, but I haven't personally tried to really, like that's what I wanna do, though, is, like, get to know the spirits of the land and the forest and everything, and but I have like fairy cards. I have fairy statues. I love like, the little cute winged fairies and stuff too, but and gnomes I like as well. And then I know there's all different types of things. But yeah, I think you
Mhm.
mentioned that's something you like to do.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely interested in the fae. For some reason, it's always been a part of the landscape. I had a friend who, swore that she had seen the fae
I
when
have
she was
two. That's
a
why I'm like, it's real. No, but go ahead.
yeah, for her it was. She said she heard music and she followed that music down to the creek that ran through her dairy farm, and she said she saw wee people, the wee people, and they were playing, and so and laughing, and she said, I mean, for her till the day that she departed this world, she stuck by her story. She truly believes in the faith. And I believe in elemental energy. I'm an energy worker. So for me, everything is like energy. And so I do believe in elemental energy. In fact, I'm usually on with these two other beautiful ladies, the Connor sisters, Misty and Ashley. They're not on tonight,
Yeah, I want to meet
but
them sometime. I didn't know.
I, I think you'd really enjoy them. I really do. And I think that they would enjoy meeting you for
Yeah, I was
sure.
listening to the other podcasts. They're really funny.
Right. They are. Let me ask, do you have yeah, that's definitely their magic. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
they have
part of
the
mine as
ability.
well. I like good sense of humor is important.
Yeah. I wish I could bottle what they had and, have and, sell it. Unfortunately, yeah, you guys get me tonight, but that's okay. I will keep this rolling.
Yeah, yeah.
Lis well, what about you? Do you work with, weather or the elements in your practice?
No, but I've always read about like, how you can make it rain or stop the rain. And I actually have a friend that when we would have parties and stuff, they're like would say, "Hey, get your, you know, spill ready." She could
Mhm.
make sure the weather was good. So
I
that was
love
like her
that.
thing. And she likes to read cards too. She's pretty cool.
In the mountains, we have, something called storm splitters. It was a
Yes,
gift
I
that
actually
some
read something
people
about
had.
that recently. I thought that was pretty cool.
Mhm. And these people could step outside if they saw a storm coming, and they could literally reach their arms out and spread their arms and split that storm. Now,
Yeah.
I'm sure that they had their magic, of course, that went with that, but there were families that were known to have that gift within their family. What about you? Do you have any what we used to call granny witches in your family, and what were their gifts?
So I would say that they were granny witches, whether they really knew that or would identify with that. And, I didn't know them personally, but it's kind of like when I was talking to my grandma that stuff was revealed and then, did a little like genealogical research and find out like what our background is and stuff. So what I found out is we're Pennsylvania Dutch. So they come over from part of Germany probably before it was like Germany. But they were known as the Pennsylvania Dutch when they come over to Pennsylvania. So they had like these German and American like folk magic practices and then they moved down here to um, where I'm, further down in Appalachia in North Carolina and surrounding areas. But the Pennsylvania Dutch are known for like Brauhau, I think I want to say. I might be saying that wrong, but um, and that would be like a good type. They wouldn't say witchcraft, okay? It's like a uh, healing, like from God. They felt like
Mhm.
they believe the power of God worked through them to heal people, put putting hands on people, um, and different abilities like uh, being able to talk fire out of burns, stop bleeding, and take warts off of people, stuff like that. And but there's like a lot of different. I had grew up hearing different stuff like that, but I'm like, where is this from? Like I thought it was Irish or something, but I didn't. There was no evidence of that in my family. But then I realized, no, it's German, and that's uh Brauhau and from the Pennsylvania Dutch people. So that was cool. But they believe that like their abilities can be passed down like by telling someone of the opposite sex. It couldn't be passed through the same sex. And but there's a lot of different cool stuff to it. Like they would do stuff by the moon phases and plant crops, by certain phases or by like astrological signs, which I've always been into astrology and see the zodiac back here. And I definitely believe in that kind of thing. And recently, when I was sorry, I'm trying to drink my water off camera. I'm
It's
getting
okay,
ready,
I drink on camera.
but yeah, um, but yeah, there's just a lot of cool stuff I've been finding out about that, and I'm going to be getting some books on it and researching more. But yeah, I definitely had like people I think would be considered granny witches, but is like further back, hard to like know somebody that really did that. But I talked to my mama and she was saying like her mom would put a horseshoe above her door for good luck protection. Um, she grew her own crops, canned all the food, took care of the kids. Like um, she had 7 kids, I believe, and sewed all their clothes. And whenever they were sick, they had to rely on like their own herbal remedies and going out. She remembers going out and foraging with her mom for plants and making tea of different uh, stuff like mint and chamomile. No, maybe not chamomile. That's harder to get, but whatever they could actually get around them. And one of the things was sassafras tea.
Mhm.
And so she was telling me that's one of the cool things, like a foraging that I just thought of. Earlier this year, I went and dug up sassafras roots and cut the roots, and you have to do it before it gets too late in the spring when the leaves come out because that means the sap rises up. So the sap is in the roots. So you cut the roots and you can like clean them off and everything, boil them and make tea with it, or you can dry it and use it later for tea. And it smells really good, kind of like a root beer fragrance. So that's like, I feel like that's with my folk practices. What I like to do is honor my ancestors and try to like figure out what they done and keep doing that.
And just to mention, I mean, the German were definitely a large part of, the people, the diaspora that moved into the mountains, but definitely, the most, populous people, I guess, the number of people that came were the Scotch Irish, and and the practices that the powwows had, would sometimes streamline. When you think about it, I mean, in Europe, where Germany obviously is. I mean, you go across the channel and you have England. You go across the Irish Channel, you have Ireland. And so one of the things that you note when you're looking at these different practices is how many things do parallel in practices, which is interesting. And we are going to take a short break, but when we get back, I'd love to talk about, your ideas on hexing, cursing, what you would consider practical magic, and, your day-to-day, maybe, the way that you practice and put those little bits into your daily life. day-to-day routine, how do you, put magic into your life?
Well, I'd like to say uh, that I do magic every day, but I mean, I probably do like subconsciously, but like as far as a conscious effort goes, I want to do more and wish I did more. I have a witch's almanac. It's like a farmer's almanac, but with like witchy stuff in it. And I want to be able like to get on this routine where I can consult that every day or burn incense every day. But like, you know, I'm wanting to get more towards that. But that, like, even if I don't do stuff every day, I don't think that doesn't make me a witch.
Oh my goodness, no. And let me tell you, here's how I think that all of us, who have a connection with magic, keep that in our lives is that it's just a part of who we are. It's like we're the living, breathing, result of magic because we keep our hearts open, we keep our minds open, and we allow spirit to walk with us. And it's not like, I jump out of bed and I, put my incense in and I throw my hands up and I start meditating, but it's an awareness that we have, it's a mindfulness that we keep with us that I think is such a huge part of magic is being aware. Like you said, when we met, you just thought, ah, just magic. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because you have an awareness of it. And so you see it and you identify it and you work with that energy when you do see and identify it. So, I think that that is so true. And then when we need something formal, many of us will gather our herbs and our crystals, whatever it is that we need to create that magic at that point. Let me ask, what's your favorite crystal?
it changes time to time, and I probably have a few favorites. Always smoky quartz has always been a favorite. Really, I like the purple stones, like obviously amethyst, but spirit amethyst, it's like little comes out in points and looks like
Mhm.
druzy all over it. It's beautiful. Um,
What is
and
it about
I
about
mean,
purple that draws you, do you think, in your
I
stuff?
love wearing purple. Like I've got to where I like purple. I used to like pink more, but purple I've been really drawn to that this past couple of years. That's become my favorite color, and it's a very mystical color, and it relates to our third eye chakra, and so really it is a magical color, and being open to that perception and like psychic ability. So I like the color correspondence and the meaning behind that, and I also really like pink amethyst too. So really, it's not amethyst, but that's what they call it. Comes in geode form.
Mm. Well,
And I
I
like
have to
amber
admit,
a lot too. Recently, see, this is amber.
oh, I love
I
that,
think
and of
amber
course,
is really
amber
like healing.
and connecting to past lives.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's right. Whenever I do, I'm a hypnotist. I was trained through the National Guild of Hypnotists. So when I do a past life, I will often have someone hold a piece of amber because that does help,
Yeah,
energetically connect with that prior lifetime. Now, you've mentioned several times that you like horoscopes, or the whole. Do you do the process? Are you a someone who works with that, or do you just enjoy studying it?
I would say I'm kind of an armchair astrologer. I don't know everything about it because I mean it's so in depth, but I'm kind of wanting to go towards like if you know what time you were born and where, and you can come tell me that, and we'll put it in this little app, and it'll show me your chart, and then I can kind of like read their personality based on that. So I'm kind of getting to that
Mm.
point. But I've just always like been interested in it. I knew what my zodiac was at probably 10, 11, 12. I don't know, something like that. But then, like, when I got about 20 or something, that's when I was realizing that you've got a whole chart. You've got this whole chart. Looks like a halo. Ah. But, but So there's a lot to, like, that was my Gemini moon coming out, okay, um,
Mhm.
but it's cool because it's like you can connect with people through astrology by, learning about their personality and, maybe what drives them as a person, their motivation, so it helps, like, you understand yourself and other people better, I feel.
Yeah, I agree. I have an interest in it like you. My mind, I have ADHD. I was actually diagnosed in my 30s. And I have I can either hyper focus or I don't focus at all, and that's what ADHD is. It's not that we can't focus; it's a lack of being able to control that or a consistency in our ability to focus. But
It makes me
uh,
wonder if I have that too a little bit, but
mhm. And you may well, I mean, there seems to be, I hate to say an outbreak because, but there seems to be a whole lot of people who are,
catch it.
yes, yes. I don't know if you can catch it, but it certainly does seem like the number of people identifying with it has grown substantially since my diagnosis, which was over 30 years ago.
Yeah,
But anyway, yeah, my favorite crystal is clear quartz, and I like it because it can substitute for just about anything. I don't have to. Well, here's
yeah.
my crystal ball. This is
Oh, wow.
Artemis. Oh,
Nice.
I
She's
love her.
flexing. She's flexing on us. No, I'm just kidding.
No, 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 no. Believe me, I didn't get that
I'll
for.
show you my crystals too if you want. I just
Yeah,
have
this
to get
well,
up for
if
a
you have
minute.
this my,
I love it.
husband got for me, and it is just so precious to me because of that, but I do
Oh,
love and no flex, no flex. You
I
know,
just
when you
play.
love it's like having a child. It's like, "Look at my
Yeah,
child, she's so beautiful."
yeah,
And
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
And of
Um,
course, you don't have to power up, so to speak, a clear quartz crystal. It actually works as an engine for anything else. So
yeah,
if you have, say, say black tourmaline, it seems to be falling apart because it's taken so many hits for you, right?
yeah,
Psychic hits. You can lay it next to a piece of quartz crystal or on a plate of selenite if that's what you want to do.
yeah,
There's different ways to do it. Bring it into the moonlight if you want. However works for you, but this is definitely one way to do it. So whenever I have like things this is citrine right here, which is a wonderful healing
nice.
quartz. So I set it next to this on my desk so that I have that consistent healing energy, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um, and so I do things like that, and that's what I'm saying, you do it too, my love. You have this every day in your life. I've seen your
thank you.
what you
Yeah,
have around you, and you're drawn to so many beautiful things. Um, you had one of the most beautiful blue, and I should have gotten it. I might be down if you still have it. What was it? Lapis lazuli in your shop.
nah, I sold it, but I can get
I
some
figured
more.
that
But,
was really beautiful.
yeah, I love clear quartz as well. I have
Mhm,
some pieces that we actually found around here. We have some nice quartz if you can find it here. Like they're usually chunks and they're like
mhm,
look like big chunks of ice. They're really
mhm.
cool looking. Like I haven't found any that have like points on them terminations. If we did, we would probably pass out. But but yeah, me and Justin we love going looking for crystals. We hadn't in a while. We like metal detecting too. We need to get out there and do some stuff. But
Well,
but
what
yeah, I
was
love
your
black
best find?
tourmaline and other tourmalines as well. But what
What was your best find when you were looking for
we found, I
crystals?
mean, my best find, we found a arrowhead like not broken and it had like a marble in detail. Probably the best one. Um, this is interesting. So when we were metal detecting, I found a little Chuck E. Cheese coin, like you use them in the arcade. See, they don't even do that
Oh,
anymore. Like, if you go to these places, you have these little cards. So now,
mhm.
you can't get those tokens. But I thought it was kinda crazy crazy because 'cause I'm like, "What if I lost that one time?" Like, I had that in my pocket. Like, do I remember losing that? Because it was out here, like, around the house that I found that. That was one of my best finds too, I think.
That's nice, really
But
nice.
as far as, like, crystals, we have some pretty good quartz we found as well, clear quartz. Oh no, Justin's best find. He found some amber, and I'm like, this is random as heck because we don't really even like have that. How did this get here? And it was just like on top of gravel, so that made us think that it was like in a gravel crusher run or
Mhm.
something. But it was just so random, and we tested it under a black light, and you can see that it was glowing, and that's one of the ways you can test it.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think, and I could be wrong, I have terrible memory, but I think that, a lot of amber comes from Russia, doesn't it? From,
Um, it's in the this amber is from the Baltic Sea.
Baltic Sea, that's right. Well, that's why they call it Baltic amber, right?
Yes. So that's
Yeah.
from
For
like a
some
lot of
reason,
the
Russia was
pure
thinking
things that they make like with jewelry.
interesting. And what is your, do you wear anything, to kind of, protect yourself, if you
Yeah.
will?
Yeah, usually the jewelry I wear, I wear it as protection. Um, I've got, I usually wear rings on my fingers except for my pinkies, and I wear it on this thumb, but don't have that one. But I've got moldavite, so that's
Ooh,
supposed
nice.
to be for like spiritual transcendence and um, excuse me, kind of bringing your destiny towards you. Um, but you have to use it in a good way though. And I have amber here, and that's like I said, protective. There's a Herkimer diamond ruby, but that's for like I wear the ruby to kind of remind me of like I wear it for like health, but then also for um reminding me to spend my money well, like don't waste your money kind of thing.
Mhm.
And it protects you in that matter. And then I have another amber over here, and then I have an Ankh, Egyptian Ankh symbol. I usually wear that all the time on that ring finger. These are normally the rings I wear, except sometimes I change that one up. And I just got
Mhm.
this one at the gym show.
Oh, I
But
love it.
and so maybe like but sometimes the necklace I wear too would be I wear protective jewelry, yeah.
What was the most powerful spell you ever did that manifested?
I don't know if you want me to tell you that.
Okay, moving on.
No. Um, uh,
Is it a hex or a curse?
kind of.
Well, do
It was
tell,
to
just don't give names.
no, it's kind of like to stop you've heard of the freezer spell,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Okay.
But tell our audience.
Okay, you're supposed to it's one that you see going around a lot, and I would say you gotta be careful of this because so you put their name, write their name on a piece of paper, but what you're trying to do, you have to really use your intention and say what you mean, like stop them from doing this, and you just have to say exactly what it is, and put them in the freezer, and then they'll stop them from doing that. But you have to take them out eventually because if you don't, they might die. We'll just say that. But that was not my intention. So can't say that it really was my fault. Um, so we'll just leave a little air of mystery there.
How
But
fast did the manifestation take place?
how fast? Well, I mean, it worked like to stop them from doing that, but then uh I mean, it happened pretty like I like to handle stuff as best as I can without doing anything extra, you know what I mean? I
Yes.
normally don't feel like I have to do these things or anything,
Mhm.
but, yeah, let's just say it was not undeserved.
Right. Right.
But, I don't think that I caused that though, it was just like someone leading to their own ruination, you know?
Well, what is your philosophy about hexing and cursing?
Like yeah, like I said, like, I don't really feel like I normally wouldn't have to do anything to anyone. You just put protections over yourself, and, if they are doing something, I would more so these days do like reflection back on them.
Mhm,
And um I don't really think in most cases there's not really like a reason that you want to curse or hex somebody unless it was just something like really bad and unforgivable kind of stuff, and you felt like you needed to give them like retribution, or give them their karma right away. But yeah, normally I'd like, there's not, I don't, that's the thing, just don't make enemies. And I wouldn't do stuff, definitely not in a petty way, not
mhm.
unless, yeah, I just try not to ever be like petty. I always let stuff roll off my back. It's not, and don't do nothing unless you really felt like you have to most of the time.
I have a question. Do you have a strong Taurian, placement in your chart?
Yeah, I'm a Taurus sun, or yeah, Taurus sun, Gemini moon, Cancer rising.
All right, that Taurian, and the reason I asked, and I'm sure I asked you when I met you, but I can't remember, like I said, ADHD. But Taurians are like that. They will let things just fall off them until they don't.
Yeah,
And they are a force to be reckoned with whenever, I mean, those horns come out and you know it. And sometimes it's a shock to people because they've been able to, I hate to use the word push, but to push this person, this Taurus, until they've had enough. Their backs are up against the wall, and they are, like I said, they're fierce when they do that turn.
yeah, and the same with Taurus and Cancer, so I have both of that, is that they're very fierce about protecting their family. So that's really what drove me and pushed me at that point,
Mhm. To
trying to
to
protect
actually
family. Yeah.
to begin to manifest. Yeah, yeah, I can understand that. One question: how do you feel about uh, like hexing a child? Is that something that you would do?
I wouldn't see any reason for that because they don't know any better. They're just learning like we are. I mean, I don't know what they could have done so bad that would make me mad enough to want to hex them. Granny witches, you know what Granny would have done? Granny witches, if
Well,
that youngin's acting up, they'd go say, "Go get a switch off of that tree,"
mhm.
and then they'd whoop him.
Oh,
So,
let me tell you, speaking of and did you have this? I mean, Granny literally let me go. You had to go and pick your own switch, cut your own switch, and if you brought it back and it was too small, Granny decided which one was
yeah,
going to be cut.
it
Was yours the same way?
yeah, I've been, before switched before from but that made me respect them. But that,
Mhm.
um, but I'm not obviously not condoning the beating children or anything. So, but
No,
yeah,
we're just talking about our childhoods.
I wouldn't see no kind of reason to hex anybody really.
Mhm,
Like most of the time, if they're being mean to you, they're gonna get what's coming to them because
mhm,
you're protected. You stay in your lane.
mhm,
You don't try to ruffle feathers. And if you
mhm.
did, I try to apologize. So
Well, let me ask, did you ever have a paranormal experience that, was significant, that really brought things into perspective, that there's more than meets the eye in this world?
um, it's kind of like I'm always like seeking those experiences, and I haven't really had like anything crazy happen. But when I was a kid, uh my family always talked about like across like where I'm looking at the area right now at the window. Probably should close the curtain. It's gonna be getting this little spooky in here. But that so my papa was like bulldozing there and clearing off land, and he found uh uh like burnt ashes down in the ground, and like even pottery or pieces of pottery. And I think he took some of the pottery, and that night there were several witnesses to this in the house. They heard like drumming and like chanting, and they can like even feel the vibrations. And it happened for like a couple minutes, and then I guess it quit. But then he took that back to the area, and it didn't happen again. But I was always as a kid like, "Ooh, I want that, I wanna hear the drumming." I don't know, it's just I was very curious and sometimes morbidly inclined too, like, liked always reading or, being told ghost stories and stuff, and my grandma, she told always tell me ghost stories and stuff, so that always stuck with me, that story, and I wanna say that I heard that when I was younger, but it's like a fuzzy memory, like, did that really happen or not? But, like, in recent years, I would do, like, readings card readings for myself, and like I said, the card the that correlated with that herb would literally came up. So, that was synchronicity for me, like, I noticed synchronicities like that, and it kinda just confirms to me and a lot of people that wouldn't make sense to them. I do see, like, 1111 a lot, that's, like, recently anyway, so I think it was probably leading to this moment.
And for those out there that don't know, 1111 often means that you're on the right spiritual path and the angels are watching after you, which is really a beautiful thing.
Yeah, when I know oh, yeah, thanks. Whenever I notice that I'll lately I'll be like, "Bring it," and, I'm thankful, being thankful for the moment.
I love that. Well, let me ask, did your grandma tell you any true stories, in her ghosty stories that you can
They was all
remember?
true.
Well, tell us a short one. Tell us a short one. Let
Um,
grandma live on. Her
so
story.
now listen, I do a ghost tour, you gotta pay for these stories. No, I'm just
Oh!
playing. I'm just playing.
Well,
So,
just a
no,
short
let me
one.
tell you. So, uh, there's really not much I can remember. Like I remember a little thing. Like she'll say, she would say there was this hollering tool or hollering tooth or something, where it would holler in your face and you wouldn't see it and you could hear it all going up and down the road hollering and stuff like that. Just little things like that. She'd say, but then like the only real like full story, the cohesive story, that I could remember is she said that we all live in a holler, or, everybody one way in, one way out, but everybody's lives around each other. Also, you can holler for them to come to dinner. But so Uncle Fred was going walking over the hill, coming down to eat supper with everybody. But he lived like over the hill in the woods, not like right around where everyone is. So he's walking down through the woods, and believe he was carrying some meat. And he hears something behind him walking. He looks, he don't see anything. Keeps going. It could be anything. And then it's starting to get dark, so it's getting kind of creepy. And so he keeps walking and he hears something say, "Mama, come and get me." And obviously there was no one there. He called out, and so he was just freaked out. And he went down to the house and told everybody what happened. But everybody just kind of forgot about it. And then they were eating supper, and then it started raining really bad, flooding. So he couldn't walk back. He had to spend the night there. And they were all in bed. I don't remember who all was there, but uh you could hear the rain coming down on the roof. Then outside you heard, "Mama, come and get me." And no, there was no child or anything outside, and everyone in the house heard that and it freaked them out. So, sometimes I would ask her like, "Well, what is it?" And she would say, "Oh, it's like a panther or mountain lion or whatever, because they cry like a baby." I'm like, "Well, they don't say words." But so I was always curious like what it was, but that was apparently a true story. And that would just always, give us the chills the way she'd tell it. But I thought like it was a mimic or something,
Mhm,
like it wanted you to come to it because it wanted that meat or it wanted him. It was just
mhm.
something that was trying to, yeah, get you to come to it. And
And I
that's what
will s
you hear a lot about. Like later in life, I learned that's something you hear a lot about in Appalachian folklore is that there's things in the woods that will mimic somebody's voice, or you'll hear like a baby crying in the woods, or somebody call your name, but you don't follow, you get home. And Papa and Granny would always say, "Get in the house, it's getting dark, that hide behind will get you." And a hide behind it essentially was something that would follow you, and every time you'd try to look at it, it'd hide behind something. You'd never see it. And I didn't know if that was something they made up or like where it come from, but it must have been from like that Dutch Pennsylvania Dutch culture, maybe. Cause like it's on my mammal's and papaw's side both. They're both like from the Pennsylvania Dutch peoples. But yeah, I found out that was like a thing. It wasn't just something they had made up, which I thought was pretty cool.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. And let me ask, let's talk a little bit about your shop since we're wrapping up. Now, Great Southern Gothic, I can tell you from having been there, and you can fill in, but it has incredible crystals, it has books, it has all the paraphernalia that if you're interested in a lot of different paths, you can use this as a one-stop shop, and of course, you've got a wonderful hostess to greet you, and that's Zia herself. So, Zia, is there anything else you'd like to say about the shop?
Um, it's
Where can
definitely.
they find you? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I was
sorry. Go
gonna say,
ahead.
where can they find you online?
You can go to greatsoutherngothic.com, or you can find me on Facebook and Instagram if you just look up Great Southern Gothic. I'm also on TikTok, but not as much anymore. I kind of got tired of it, like I knew I would. But so about this shop, I've been open for 9 years, and I call it a curiosity shop because really there's just like a little bit of this and that for everybody. That's it's that I want you to come in with a curious mind and explore around. And you don't really get shopping experiences like that anymore. It's sort of like,
Mhm.
in a way, set up like an antique store, and there's just so many things to look at, and the decorations. And I just decorated for Halloween. You need to come by and check it out. It's a lot of
Oh, I love
fun.
to and I will definitely be there. But tell us too about the Explore Room, which is really
All right.
cool.
Yeah. So the escape room is like three little areas that you can explore. And the theme is Great Southern Gothic Tourist Trap. Like when you said it was a tourist attraction in downtown West Jefferson, that's why I made that, because it's kind of a cheeky little thing. Like it's a tourist trap, place, but also tourist trap because you're trapped in there, but you're really not trapped. You can get out anytime. I think people are scared of the name when they hear escape room. They don't really know. Some people don't know what it is, but really it's just like this fun game that people are afraid it's scary too, or that they're going to get claustrophobic. It's really not like that. You just have to solve puzzles and work together with your friends and family and figure out how to get out within an hour. So you've got to find clues and puzzles, figure out the puzzles within an hour. It's not, I don't like hard math stuff, so the most math you'd be doing is like addition, subtraction, but I don't even really have like math in this one. It's like word puzzles, matching stuff, finding stuff. It's kind of like part Easter egg hunt, and it's like fun for all ages too. You really need like a certain amount of people in your group. I would say like 4 to 6 is the best number, and have like different age ranges too to help you to figure everything out, because there's different things you're having to do, and it can be a little chaotic, but that's the fun of it.
Mhm.
And there's like a cool soundtrack. There's a Granny Witch fortune teller machine in there. One of the rooms is like, I call it the Booger Woods. It's named after Legend of Woolly Swamp by Charlie Daniels Band. So if you listen to that song, you'll kind of know and what that's like. It's like a haunted woods type thing, and it's just neat and hokey and kind of like that hillbilly, but um, silly vibe to it. A little bit spooky. It's not like, I wouldn't say it's scary. It's just super
Yeah.
fun. It's also really like sensory too. There's like
Mhm.
things you're touching,
Yeah.
that feel weird, things you're doing, and yeah.
For those out there that's worried about getting too scared, my granddaughter actually walked through the rooms and she loved it. She especially loved the automatic granny fortune teller. So yeah, this is a really cool place. If you haven't been, you should check it out. Great Southern Gothic, and that is in West Jefferson, North Carolina. Zia Darling, thank you so much for being with us. And to
Thank you.
let you know, I am Pat Bizard O'Keefe, one of three Appalachian witches. This is our show, Gussied Up Magic. Our other two witches are out tonight, and that is Misty Connor and Ashley Connor. They make up the Connor sisters. And one other thing, we are going to be in on September 28th, so coming up soon. We're going to be in Marietta, Ohio. We're going to be at an event there, the Marietta Paracon that's going on there. Then on October 2nd, we're going to be at Northeast State. We're going to be talking about witchcraft the world over. So that, we're going to look at different paths and the countries they're from. And so we're really looking forward to that. We're also going to be showing the documentary that the three of us are in, which is called Season of the Witch.
Oh,
Hope
wow.
you're there for that because it is open to the public. And then on October 19th, the king of events and queen, a Scarefest. We're going to be there, and of course, the show is on Scarefest Radio. Happy to be there, and really looking forward to Scarefest. We're going to be talking about moon magic, mirror magic, and the witch's ladder. And we are offering for the first 100 people that show up for our talk, they're going to be getting a small spell bag.
Ooh.
So that's it for us. This is a wrap. See you next time.